from Willoughby, Ohio, alongside the 701 of flying Ryan Tedesco. Row number 2, the X is the Iceman, Tim Ice. The number 3 is Doug Summers. On the pole, 701 of Ryan Tedesco alongside the X is the Iceman, Tim Ice. The number 3 is Doug Summers. The 88 is Tony Urdiles. The 0 is George Riddle. The 90 is Emerson Huffman. The 33 is Jake Francis. The 18 is Brandon Short. The black 33 is Albert Francis. The 17 is your 2019 champion in the late model division, Bob Snyder Jr. John Ambrose in the 65. The 577 is AP Wren. The 48 is Jonathan Ritter. The 25 is Chris Grubbs. The 24 is Neil Rowley. The 83 is Dino Campolino. The 69 is Bob the Animal Eichel. And the 69 is Corey Herron. Wave to him. Turn 3 and 4, wave to them. Front straightaway, on your feet, wave to your late model drivers for the final time in 2019. 50-lap feature, getting ready to go. Green. The drivers have made the tow from all over to Midvale Speedway in all of our divisions here this weekend. The fans have showed up on Sunday showing that they want to see some racing for the final time in 2019. Let's get it going. RJ White, Ryan Tedesco. Neil Rowley, Chris Grubbs, Bob the Animal Eichel, Corey Herron. 50-lap feature getting ready to go. Green flag is in the air off of turn number 4. The number 33 of Jake Francis got sideways off of turn number 4, collected the 18 of Brandon Short right at the drop of the green flag. White, Ryan Tedesco. Field in turn number 3. White and Tedesco. Green flag is in the air. Ryan Tedesco going to take the race lead. Here comes Doug Summers in the 3. Summers up to the second spot. RJ White back to third. George Riddle on the outside. He gets into RJ White. And the two make contact in turn number one. Doug Summers in second. Field in turn number three, getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Chief starter Tommy Kale, green flag in hand, and we're green. Doug Summers around the outside of Ryan Tedesco to the race lead. Summers and Tedesco out front. Here comes Tony Urdiles to the inside of George Riddle for third. Tim Ice sideways off of turn number two. Keeps it going. Albert Francis up to fourth around Riddle. Albert Francis got loose in turn number three, got down into the grass, stacked up the field. Everybody keeps going. Tony Urdiles onto the back of the 701 Orion Tedesco as the leaders catching lap traffic. Doug Summers, your race leader. Still moving through traffic. Doug Summers, your race leader. Tim Ice going to pull off the speedway in the X machine. Albert Francis has caught the back of the 88 at Tony Urdiles. Front four machines, nose to tail in turn number three. Doug Summers picking his way through traffic. Bob the Animal Eichel going to pull pit side in the 69. Doug Summers, Ryan Tedesco. Caution in turn number 2, Albert Francis in the 33. Also the 48 of Jonathan Ritter still on the lead lap. Ryan Tedesco around the outside of Doug Summers to the race lead. Ryan Tedesco, Doug Summers, Tony Urdiles, John Ambrose, your front 4. Albert Francis back up to 5th. After causing that caution behind Ambrose. Halfway home, 25 laps in, 25 to go. Here comes Tony Urdiles up to 2nd. Around Doug Summers. John Ambrose trying to get around as well, got into the 33 of Francis. John Ambrose to the inside of Doug Summers for 3rd. Albert Francis up to 4th, now Bob Snyder Jr. up to 5th, Doug Summers back to 6th, then Jake Francis and George Riddle. Caution in turn 2, Albert Francis spins again. Albert Francis spins again in turn. Go back to green. 9 cars. Your dial's going to settle it up front. Getting ready to go back to green. Green flag is in the air. Tony Urdiles trying to get around the outside of Ryan Tedesco. Tedesco battling on the bottom. Tedesco going to hang on to that lead. Here comes Ambrose trying to get to the inside of your dials for 2nd. Jake Francis spins in turn number 2. Bob Snyder Jr., Jake Francis, Jonathan Ritter. Getting ready to go back to green. Green flag in the air. Tony Urdiles once again not quite clear of Tedesco. Tony Urdiles to the race lead in the 88. Tony Urdiles to the front, Tedesco to second, Ambrose third, Albert Francis fourth, Doug Summers your top five. Urdiles starting to pull away from Tedesco. Ten laps to go. Doug Summers right now in the fifth position in line for that Garrett & Sons Construction bonus. Albert Francis looking to the outside of Ambrose for third. Tony Urdiles, your race leader. 6 laps to go. Five laps to go for Tony Urdiles. Albert Francis around the outside of Ambrose for third, trying to get around Tedesco for second. 4 to go. White flag for Tony Urdiles. Ryan Tedesco in second. Albert Francis third. John Ambrose fourth. Doug Summers in fifth. Here comes Ambrose to the inside of Francis. Off of turn number 4, your winner, Tony Urdiles. Tedesco will finish second. Ambrose third. Francis fourth. And Doug Summers with the bonus money in fifth. Pretty good Outlaw Super Late Model feature once we got those first couple laps completed. And Tony Urdiles, your winner. First victory of the season. Good way to finish 2019 for the 88 crew. He will pull in and act tuning victory lane. Into Kavanaugh. 44 Sharp, Forever Tan, RPM Motorsports, Automotive Electric, Dan Guardo Construction. Here he is, Tony Urdiles. Come on over here, old man. You want me to get your walker? Okay, so I'm hearing this crazy rumor that you're hanging it up after today. Is that true?
Yes, it is true.
So this win doesn't make you say, hey, you know what, maybe it's not time?
No, I'm getting a little too old for this now. But it's fun, but every week it's hard, you know.
Well, what a way to cap off a great career with finally getting a feature win here at Midvale Speedway.
Right. We had to do some sage to get the voodoo away from it or something, because it was hard this year down here.
I'll tell you what, you and Tedesco put a good battle up there in the front. You had him almost cleared the first time on the restart, just didn't make it work. The second time, how was you able to get it done?
I just held him down a little bit more because he was getting a little bit loose, and I just tried to crowd him a little bit. Didn't rub, but we just just held him down. And but he did a good job too, and I appreciate it.
Who you want to thank on this 88 tonight, man?
I want to thank everybody here, family, crew. I want to thank all the sponsors. Most important, I want to thank the veterans. I am one, so I always thank them. And it was just great. I mean, it's way to go out this way. I won the Cavalcade of Barberton and now this one, so that's great.
Congratulations, man. Welcome to NAC Tuning Victory Lane for the first and last time.
Thank you.
Your winner, Tony Urdiles. I will definitely be one of those guys that will be sad to see Tony hang up the driving shoes. Always great here at Midvale Speedway. Been great for the sport over the last several years. Always great to have Tony here at Midvale Speedway. Came and ran with us full-time this season. We appreciate it. We wish him nothing but the best in retirement. Hopefully we'll still see his smiling face around the racetrack here at Midvale Speedway. Once again, how about giving Tony a big round of applause as he heads off to retirement with a victory in the Bucky Mowing Fall Classic. Turn number 3, turn number 4, on your feet. Let's wave off our open modified drivers for the final time in 2019. Wave them off. Turn 3, turn 4, front straightaway, on your feet. Wave off your open modified drivers. Scott Archer, Brad Copen on the front row, Lucas Ripley, TJ Steinman in row 2, Nathan Embry, Todd Ripley, row 3. Kenny Phillips, Bryce Allensworth, row 4. Spencer Steinman, Rick Gretsch in row 5. TJ Steinman, Todd Ripley, your front 6. Field in turn number 3. Archer, Copen, green flag in the air. Brad Copen around the outside of the race lead. Archer in second. Ripley and Steinman battle for third. Still side by side for that third spot. TJ Steinman, Lucas Ripley behind Brad Copen and the 28 of Scott Archer. Eight laps complete. Brad Copen still your race leader. Archer runs second. And we got Bryce Allensworth spin in turn number 4. Field in turn 3, Copen and Archer, green flag back in the air. Scott Archer around the outside of the race lead. Lucas Ripley around the 37 of TJ Steinman for third. Nathan Embry to the inside of Steinman now for fourth. Nathan Embry around TJ Steinman for the fourth spot. Here comes the 15 of Kenny Phillips to the inside of Steinman. Scott Archer continues to lead. Brad Copen with a lot of pressure from Lucas Ripley in second. Nathan Embry in fourth. TJ Steinman fifth. Kenny Phillips, Todd Ripley, Rick Gretsch, Norm Taylor, Chad Lemmerman. Here comes Lucas Ripley for second. Halfway home, 20 in, 20 to go. Scott Archer, your race leader. Ripley to second. Here comes Embry. Embry to the inside of Copen for third. Caution in turn number one. Sean Lewis, Ryan Seifer, and also the 10 of Logan Hamilton involved up in turn number one. Actually, that's Doug Mate, sorry. Doug Mate, Steinman. The 21 of Bryce Allensworth, the 30 of Logan Hamilton. Getting ready to come back to green. Archer and Ripley. Green flag is in the air. Lucas Ripley to the front. Lucas Ripley, Scott Archer, Nathan Embry, your front three. .23 laps complete. Lucas Ripley, Scott Archer, your front two. Scott Archer to the front. Here comes Nathan Embry. Actually, that is Kenny Phillips to the outside of Lucas Ripley for second. Caution in turn number one. Spencer Steinman, Randy Gray in turn number two. 26 laps complete. Brad Copen, row three. Norm Taylor, Todd Ripley, row four. Ryan Seifer, Zach Miller, row five. Getting ready to go back to green. Field in turn three, Archer and Ripley. Green flag in the air. Ripley going to go around the outside to the race lead. Field on the back straightaway, Archer and Ripley. Phillips and Embry. Your front four, 14 laps to go. Bucky Mowing Fall Classic feature is green. Lucas Ripley with the race lead. Archer second, Phillips third. Caution in turn number 2, the 31 of Chad Lemmerman. The laps to go, Lucas Ripley, Scott Archer. On the front row, the last several times the guy on the outside had the advantage. We'll see what happens this time around. Will Archer be able to get around Ripley? Field in turn number 4. So we'll try it again, Ripley and Archer in turn number 3. Green flag back in the air. Ripley going to have the advantage off of turn number 2. Archer tucks in behind. Kenny Phillips in third. Field coming to green, Ripley and Archer, 13 laps to go. And we're green. Lucas Ripley back to the front, Scott Archer in second, Kenny Phillips in third. And a parking lot in turn 2. Field on the back straightaway, Lucas Ripley, Scott Archer. Green flag back in the air. Lucas Ripley, Scott Archer, Craig Phillips, Nathan Embry, the front four. 5 laps to go. Lucas Ripley, Scott Archer, Kenny Phillips, Nathan Embry, Todd Ripley, your front 5. Brad Copen, 6. Zach Miller, Bob Page, Ryan Seifer, Chad Lemmerman, Brian Wetnall, and Bryce Allensworth. White flag for Lucas Ripley. Off turn number 4, your winner, Lucas Ripley. Scott Archer will finish 2nd, Kenny Phillips 3rd, Nathan Embry 4th, Todd Ripley 5th. Remember what happened at the beginning of the race. In the Hammer Construction, LTR Industries, sponsored number 70. Two-time champion, he was the modified champion, also the street stock champion this year at Midvale Speedway. Now he's a Fall Classic winner, Lucas Ripley. All right, come here, big dog. I don't even know what to ask you because I don't remember what the hell happened at the beginning of this event. But you and Archer had a good show. He got you the one time on the restart. You got him on the other. And then this thing was just dynamite on the restart those last couple.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Getting a hell of a bite. So as long as we started off even, I thought I could get him.
Tell you what, brand new car, just ran it, a couple weeks ago, and then you come out and put it in victory lane here. That's got to make you guys feel good. You guys put a lot of hard work into this thing.
Yeah, we put the thing together in a week, and, I mean, everyone's standing over there, people still in the pits. It wouldn't happen without them.
Who you want to thank, man?
Sponsors, LTR Industries, Hammer Construction, D&B Machine, Briscoe Pallet, and everybody that works on them.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Neck Tuning Victory Lane, the big dog, Lucas Ripley. Driving the number 28. The 55 is Josh Caranchi from Paynesville, Ohio. The number 25 is Jeff Fade. The 67 is Lucas Ripley. The 88 is Dennis Wood. The 07 of Parker Ennis. The 98 is Matt Wilson. The 08 is Earl Goldie. The number 5 is Josh Way. The 55 is Kyler Bertram. The 21 is your fastest qualifier, Mark Lucius. The 12 is Jeff Kuykendall. The 48 is Will Wiggins, the second. The 22 is Kylie Wood. The 07 is Zach Myers. The 118 is Colt Locker. The 99 is Scott Skufka. The 55 is Robbie Kordiak. The 95 is Scott Richardson. The 8 is J.D. Lawson. The 22 is Mike Town. And the 83 of Ron Miller. Steve Mowery, Josh Caranchi, Jeff Fade, Lucas Ripley, your front four. 30-lap open street stock feature is green. Mowery going to have the race lead into turn number 3. Lucas Ripley in second, Caranchi back to third. Here comes the 07 of Parker Ennis. Green flag in the air. Green flag in the air. Back from the fence in turn 4. Take the doll and get back from the fence. Seriously? Green flag back in the air. Field coming back to green. Steve Mowry and Lucas Ripley battling for the race lead in turn number 3. Mowry on the bottom, Ripley loose. He's going to get Earl Goldie to his inside. Mowry out front, Goldie in second, Ripley third. Matt Wilson in the 98 just lost a motor in turns 3 and 4. Tough break for the 98 of Matt Wilson. All right, coming back to green. Halfway home, 15 in, 15 to go. Green flag is in the air. Steve Mowry, Earl Goldie. Kyler Bertram off the pace in the 55. The final time that we start in turn number 4. On the radio, they've been told several times. And they start in turn 3 again. Goldie and Wood in turn number 4. Green flag in the air. Earl Goldie, Dennis Wood side by side into turn number 4. Goldie on the bottom, Wood on the top, Ripley and Ennis side by side. Here comes Parker Ennis 3 wide in the middle. The 08 of Earl Goldie has a flat tire. He goes pit side. Getting ready to go green, Wood and Ripley, Ennis and Lucius. Green flag is in the air. Parker Ennis to the inside of Lucas. Ripley for second. Dennis Wood out front, Parker Ennis in second, Josh Way third, Lucas Ripley fourth, Mark Lucius fifth. 8 laps to go. Josh Way all over the back of the 07 of Parker Ennis. Here comes Way to the inside. Josh Way to second. Dennis Wood, your race leader, 5 laps to go. Caution on the speedway. The 118 of Colt Locker just got into the wall off of turn number 4, cut a right rear tire, and spun in turn number 1. Colt Locker gets into the wall off of turn number 4 and spins down in turn number 1. Laps to go. Wood and Way in turn number 4. Green flag is in the air. Josh Way, Dennis Wood, Parker Ennis. White flag for Josh Way. Josh Way, your winner in the 5. Dennis Wood finishes second. Parker Ennis, Lucas Ripley, Mark Lucius. crate modifieds, and the trailer race. In the Ways Custom Welding, Mr. Muffler. And the Caranchi Performance Diesel sponsored number 5. Tuning Victory Lane, here's your winner, Josh Way. All right, come here, Josh. Okay, so you told me earlier, get ready to give me that trophy. Man, you did it. It took an hour and a half, I think.
Bring that thing over here. It took 6 years to win one of these here.
Congratulations, buddy. Great run tonight. I know it probably seemed like forever, but some of those cautions actually helped you get back up where you needed to be. Man, how'd you get through the field?
I love racing here. It's good racing. Normally the cars don't get beat up too bad, and it's always a great show.
Who you want to thank on this 5 tonight, brother?
And my companies, everybody that helps do it, good time.
Congratulations, man. Welcome to Knack Tuning Victory Lane.
Thank you.
Your winner, Josh Way. Josh Way in Victory Lane at Midvale Speedway. The pole, the 38 is the 38 of Kevin McClintock. Will be the 25 of Sean Martyr. The 55 is the Rooster, Brandon Bailey. The 09 is Philip Cox, your fastest qualifier. The 54 is Big Mac Doug McMillan. The 27 is Braden Swaney. The 75 is Bobby DeVore. The second, the 331 is Mike Stone. The 99 is Marty Powers. The 66 is Lewis McGrath. The 338 is Brandon France. The 69 is Don Rufner the third. The 87 is Zach Leisure. The 4 is Jerry DeVore. Dan Sharpless in the 92. The 7 is Corey Beatty. And the 95 is Brad Milburn. Lap feature for the crate modifieds. Bailey, Philip Cox, getting ready to go green. Sean Martyr to the lead, Kevin McClintock in second. Braden Swaney up the racetrack just a little bit in turns 3 and 4. Kevin McClintock to the outside of Sean Martyr, and now the 09 of Philip Cox spins in turn number 4. Your front 10 machines into turn number 4. on the radio to not jump. McClintock and Martyr in turns 3 and 4. Green flag in the air. McClintock gonna roll around the outside. Martyr trying to battle back on the bottom into turn number 3. McClintock to the race lead. Here comes Brandon Bailey to the outside of Martyr. Martyr hangs on in second. Here comes the Rooster, Brandon Bailey, the 54 of Doug McMillan. Brandon Bailey going to roll around the top, take over the second spot. Good battle for fifth between Braden Swaney, Marty Powers on the outside. Caution, the 92 of Dan Sharpless into the wall in the front straightaway. McClintock and the Rooster in turn 3 and 4. Green flag back in the air. Brandon Bailey around the outside will have the race lead. Doug McMillan going to take over the third spot from Josh. Actually, the 25 of Sean Martyr. Martyr up the racetrack a little bit in that fourth position. Open up the bottom for the 331 of Mike Stone. Now Stone gets into Martyr and spins him off with turn number 4. Getting ready to go green, Rooster, and McMillan. Or, I'm sorry, McClintock. McMillan and Swaney in row 2. Bailey and McClintock off of turn number 2. Bailey still has the advantage. McClintock still fighting in that outside lane. Rooster up the racetrack. Here comes Kevin McClintock for the race lead. McClintock back out front in the 38. Rooster back to second. McMillan third. Swaney fourth. Halfway home, 15 in, 15 to go, Kevin McClintock. Ten laps to go for Kevin McClintock, Brandon Bailey, Doug McMillan, Braden Swaney, and Philip Cox. Kevin McClintock starting to pull away from Brandon Bailey. Bailey falling under fire from the 54 of Doug McMillan. Braden Swaney in fourth. The 09 of Philip Cox, the 331 of Mike Stone, the 66 of Lewis McGrath, and the 338 of Brandon France. Five laps to go for Kevin McClintock. Kevin McClintock sailing through traffic just a little bit better than Brandon Bailey. 2 laps to go. White flag for Kevin McClintock. Kevin McClintock will go high. Had a spin happen right in front of him. The caution comes out. Brandon Bailey with new life. McClintock, Bailey, McMillan, Swaney. Your front four come to green. Green and white together. Green flag is in the air. McMillan gets sideways, gets into Philip Cox. Everybody continues on. Down the back straightaway, final time into turn number 3. Drag race between McClintock and Bailey off of turn number 4. Kevin McClintock, your winner. In the Burkett Nestor Race Cars, Broad Run Cheese House, Stewart's Flooring, Van Meter's Auto Repair, Pizza by Penzo's. Sponsored number 38. Also Consolidated Stitches Embroidery, Blick Tool and Die, Kevin McClintock. Nothing like getting a nice cold swig of water after a hard-fought one. Man, I'll tell you what, that was a good one. I know you didn't want to see that car spinning in front of you off of turn 4, did you?
No, I didn't, but you know what? Rooster's a great dude, and I knew he ran me clean. Doug was behind me. 3 really good drivers, good cars. I almost forgot where Victor Lane was.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I haven't got to interview you all year long, other than us just BSing on the phone.
That's because I've been terrible. It's been me. Car's been good. Owe everything to the sponsors and Schweitzer, my wife, the rest of the team. Kenny Carroll helped me build it. This one, it means something.
Absolutely it does. I know, brother. I'll tell you what, congratulations. I'm just going to let you go celebrate with your team on this one.
Thank you. And Mike Enos, I think, owes me a steak dinner now. I'm pretty sure. A steak dinner.
All right, Mike, you heard it from Kevin McClintock. Here's your winner, Kevin McClintock. Derek Robinson, the 443 of Connor McLean. The 22 is Kyle Rector. Actually, the 69 is Dan Bucky. The 44 is Mike Stuber. The 7 of Will Custer. The 9 is Gavin Roop. The 15 is Curtis Finlayson. As we're green. Alan Clark. Gonna get sandwiched. No, he's not. Salinger way up the racetrack. Johnson thought better of it. Alan Clark off of turn number 4, gonna lead lap number 1. Kyle Rector, Kyle Finlayson, Don Rufner, the 3rd, all trying to make their way up through the back of the pack. Eric Feaster as well in the 8. The 47 of Rocky Nails as the 52 of Salinger takes the race lead. Alan Clark battling back on the bottom. Salinger will have the race lead off of turn number 4. Eric Johnson going to go to the outside of Clark now for 2nd. Salinger clear to the race lead. Clark and Johnson battle for 2nd. Hilliker right there in 4th. Gavin Roop almost gets spun off of turn number 2 by Feaster. .44 of Mike Stuber. The 15 of Derek Robinson. Stuber moves up through. Alan Clark in 3rd, but under fire from Billy Hilliker and the 7 of Don Rufner Jr. Jeremy Salinger, the 47 of Eric Johnson. 3 wide, no, Rufner Jr. thought better of it. Here comes Eric Johnson for the race lead on Salinger. Eric Johnson, Salinger, Clark, Hilliker, and here comes Stuber on the outside. Hilliker gets shuffled out. Here comes Don Rufner Jr. up to 4th. Three wide into turn number 1. Everybody gets through. Eric Feaster was the man in the middle. Kyle Rector trying to get Feaster moving. Gives him a shot into turn number 3 as Eric Johnson continues to lead. Rufner Jr. to the outside of Alan Clark for third as we close in on the halfway mark. Halfway this time, 13 in, 12 to go for Eric Johnson, way out in front in the 47. Spin up in turn number 4, 3 and 4. Kyle Rector into the wall. The 8 of Feaster spun around. The 44 of Stuber involved. Also the 69 of Bucky, the 15 of Curtis Finlayson. Green flag is in the air. Three wide. Here comes Rufner Jr. They all get tangled together. They're all wrecking in turn number 4. And caution. Getting ready to go green, tough break for the 3 involved in turns 3 and 4. They all pull off the speedway. Connor McLean and Eric Johnson, green flag. Eric Johnson back to the front. Eric Feaster to second. Connor McLean back to third. Here comes Mike Stuber and the 007 of Don Rufner III. DR3 to the inside of Connor McLean, going to take over the 4th spot. Eric Johnson, your race leader. Here comes Eric Feaster on the outside of Eric Johnson for the race lead. 19 laps complete. Eric Johnson, Eric Feaster, Mike Stuber. Eric Johnson still out in front of Eric Feaster and Mike Stuber. Stuber now clears Feaster for the second spot. Can he get by Eric Johnson for the race lead? 2 laps to go. Here comes Stuber, and here comes the white flag. White flag for Eric Johnson and Mike Stuber. Into turn 3, Stuber pulls alongside. On the bottom, Johnson. Off of turn number 4, your winner, Eric Johnson. Mike Stuber finishes second, Eric Feaster third, Don Rufner the third finishes fourth, and the 23 of Carl Phillips in fifth. All of our division sponsors, of course, Knack Tuning, Victory Lane sponsor. Eric Johnson pulls into Victory Lane. Come on over here, man. Back in September, you didn't even get to complete a lap as you destroyed this car off of turn number 4. Man, you had to hold off some good competition tonight. That was fun racing up front.
That was really fun racing. I don't know who was coming, but they were really coming. A couple more laps probably got me. I need a couple more laps here. But yeah, cool.
The 8 of Eric Feaster, the 44 of Mike Stuber were the guys that were right behind you. Stuber ended up finishing second. Great job, man, of playing both sides of the street a little bit. You had to do what you had to do, right?
Had to do what you had to do. Had to block a little bit.
Who you want to thank on this 47 tonight?
Sports Luxury Motors, my dad, first and foremost. All the fans coming out, appreciate you guys. Midvale Speedway staff put on a really good show this weekend. Yeah.
and you get the big trophy to go along with that big hair.
Yep.
All right, well, it's not a mullet. We got a mullet. Now we got a fro.
I might be able to afford to cut it now. I don't know.
There you go. Congratulations, your winner, Eric Johnson.